What I, let's talk about Talen Horton-Tucker because I'm a little shocked that no team has signed him yet. He's currently a free agent. He, started out on the Lakers. Is probably where most people know him from. But he played most recently for the Jazz for I think the last 2 years. Yeah, last 2 years. He played his first 3 years in the league with the Lakers and got traded to Utah and played in Utah for 2022-23 and 2023-24 seasons. And there's definitely like some deficiencies in his game, but he's only 23 years old. And, I think I've preached this before, but I just feel like the NBA gives up on players so quickly nowadays. And he's the last 3 years, he's averaged double digits. I mean, it's like barely over 10 points a game. And he's a volume shooter, right? He's not going to shoot the highest percentages. 2021-22 he shot 41.6. The season after that he shot 41.9, and then last year he shot 39.6%. So that's like not good. But he shot a career high percentage from three last season at 33%, so that's good. Shot 80% from the free throw line. So it looks to me like he can shoot and he can score. I think it's just taken him a little bit to get into the groove, right? And I think he still has a lot of developing to do. But he's got good size for a two guard. He's 6'4", he's 234. That's built for a two guard. Like he could probably even, guard threes and fours in some situations, if he wanted to. So I think he needs to develop a little bit more on the defensive end as well. But I think like this would be a good player for a rebuilding team to pick up. Like why not if you're the Brooklyn Nets or the Toronto Raptors or the Charlotte Hornets or the Washington Wizards, like why wouldn't you pick up a guy like this who's 23? You'll probably get him on a very cheap deal. And, if you're one of those teams that I just named, like you're not winning right now anyway. So why don't you sign him to a cheap deal? Maybe sign him to a 1-and-1, maybe have a team option for the second year. And see what it does, right? I just think like NBA teams are like just giving up very quickly on players. Where like when a guy's 23, he still has a lot of improving to do, in my opinion. Like I think NBA players can keep getting better until they turn like 30, in some situations. A lot of them, yeah, that's not the case. But there's players that aren't as productive as him on NBA rosters. And I don't see why you wouldn't take the chance to sign him. I mean, look at Tyus Jones. Like, Tyus Jones had a career year and then winded up signing a minimum deal for 1 year. So if you can get Tyus Jones on that deal, you can definitely get Talen Horton-Tucker on a very cheap deal. So I don't really know what's going on here. I mean, maybe I'm assuming there's probably just something I don't know. I don't think he has, like, attitude issues or anything like that, so I can't imagine why this would be going on. He won a ring with the Lakers in the bubble. I mean, granted, he didn't really play all that much that year, but, being around a championship team is always helpful. And being around LeBron James for several years, I just think there's someone's missing out on value that they could be adding by adding this guy. And it might not be value right now, but I think it could be value in the future. And he's a good player. I mean, go look up this guy's highlights. Like, I think, like, maybe not this past year, but I think the first year he was in Utah, he had a game where he scored like 40 or 41. And, if you can score 40 in an NBA game, like, you're probably good enough to stick around. And I know everyone's going to be like, oh, well, like, what about Malachi Flynn? Like, Malachi Flynn is a good player, too. Malachi Flynn should be in the league. He's not going to be an all-star. But that guy can play. Like, that guy can hoop. And sure, his 50-point game was, who else is going to score on the Pistons, right? Especially with Cade Cunningham being out. And, it was just a funny situation. But when a player drops 40 points or 50 points, it's it's nothing to sneeze at. Like, that's a real effort that someone's putting in, and they're showing out, you know? So if you can do that once, you know, you can probably do it again. And that doesn't mean you should average 40 points a game, because that's going to be pretty unlikely. But, you know, Talen Horton-Tucker has shown that he can average, 10 points a game, and he's only playing, I want to say like 20 to 25 minutes a game, like throughout his career. Yes, career high in minutes per game was with the Lakers, 25.2 minutes per game. Last year, he played 19.8 minutes a game. So this is a guy who can really like come off your bench and like bring energy. He's gonna, be aggressive in terms of scoring, and he just is one of those guys that wants to win, and he wants to succeed and do as well as he can for himself. And like I was seeing like, I think it was like a hoop mixtape or something of him just like working out this summer, and he's like yamming on people, like he's fucking up out on the court. So, I would take a chance. If I was a team that's rebuilding, he's 23 years old, he's clearly got potential. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. So, THT, I'm rooting for you. You're going to get that contract. I know it.